let's talk more about covered calls and stuff. I'll be back. Hey guys, it's Bookie's Revenge. We're back with another episode of the $500 5-Year Rags to Riches series episodes, and I just want to walk through the exercise stuff a little bit. I don't want to turn this into a fitness series, but as I said, it is very important for physical health. So I have to hide my camera here because it's in the way of the text. Okay, so we'll come back to that. All right, so yesterday was push day. It was first day of me sharing this stuff. So let's go ahead and just walk through the stuff really quick. So first off, the gym that I go to, I'm just going to a Planet Fitness because it's cheap and it's close to my house, and you can go anywhere to a Planet Fitness. The gym is kind of small. It's almost like a strip mall. It's a very small but long gym, and it has an upstairs, which is the first time I've seen that. And then also, disclosure time, this series isn't sponsored by Planet Fitness, so if they throw a fit, I'll stop mentioning their name, but till then, I'm going to keep talking about them. Good gym, just very small. So that means that there was limited equipment and limited seating, like benches and stuff, because there's a bunch of like high schoolers there. So either way, first exercise I did, I had to modify these a little bit given the constraints as well as my time constraints because I couldn't be out all night. The wife would kill me, and that's not good risk management. Kind of makes going to the gym pointless if you get murdered. So first thing I did is chest press. It was just I used a machine for this. I didn't go on the bench or any of that stuff. I wasn't trying to kill myself. It's the first time I've been back to the gym for a while for upper body stuff. This machine just has two little handles, and you just push it forward. I was trying to target the lower chest with it, so I just did a quick set of 70 pounds 10 times. Another set of 70 pounds 10 times. I noticed myself getting a little bit fatigued there towards the end, beyond the point of, compressing the muscle. So then I dropped it down to 60 just to round out the third set. So nothing crazy there. I pushed stuff forward. That's all I did. And again, that's just for the chest and triceps mostly. Then the fly machine, obviously the trick there is, pinch that soda can between your shoulder blades and you let your chest do the work. Started off with 100 pounds, did 7 reps, realized I was a little bit higher on the on the weight scale for that because it's been a while. I tried to use a higher fly on this, so I dropped the seat down a little bit so I could target the upper chest, upper to mid chest. Then I dropped down to 85 pounds, did 10 reps. Waited a minute or two, then I did another 85-pound set of 10 reps. Then I moved on to shoulder press. This is just overhead press, so I didn't want to go too heavy with the weight. I have a neck and collarbone injury, so I don't want to stress myself out and potentially re-injure any of that stuff or end up in physical therapy. So I just lifted 40 pounds 10 times, did another set of 8 reps. Again, I noticed myself getting a little bit fatigued there. I had some pain in the joint, so I didn't want to go too far. Then I dropped down to 30 pounds, went with 12 reps because it was reduced weight, so I can increase the reps. Then I just went over and grabbed some dumbbells, and I grabbed little 15-pounders, nothing too crazy. Pulled them out to my side 10 times, and of course, form is the most important thing here. I wasn't just trying to lift the heaviest weight I could find. I wanted to do it with proper form. So that means, no cheating, no swinging the weights, no bending the arms, no lifting out in front of me and then moving it to the side. No cheating like that. Just 10 reps, 15 pounds, 8 reps of 15 pounds, and then I dropped down to the little 10 pounders, and I grabbed 10 of those. So the last set here I held, and I used controlled descend, which is just where you let the weight kind of drop down as you start to fatigue. So I did that for the last 6 reps on this. Then I jumped back over on the fly machine. It opened back up again, and I just did 55 pounders. This was again upper mid chest times 10, and then 55 pounds times 12. And then the third set, again, I'm resting a minute or two between these. I just went to failure as best I could given the machine. I don't really like using the machine too much. And I just kind of listed out some notes, right? Because just like any trading plan, it's good to have notes. So lack of equipment and benches is potentially going to be an obstacle if the gym is crowded. So I might have to mix up the workout a little bit, specifically the transition between exercises. Based on what's available. So that combined with the fact that it's a small gym just kind of means that sometimes I might have to just modify an exercise. Like the flies, for example, I could probably just go grab a bench if there's one available rather than the one fly machine in the whole gym. rather than waiting potentially 10 or 20 minutes while someone texts. It's just the drawdown of being in a public gym, and I'm okay with it. Time constraints. Obviously, I can't be out all night, and I don't want to be out all night. The goal is to hit this in less than an hour, without the warm up, which is pretty doable. I mean, if you spend too much time in a gym, you're kind of you get diminishing returns and you increase your risk of injury. So I don't want to go too crazy there. And one of the pluses is the fact that it's obviously a cheap gym. It's Planet Fitness. I get to deduct that from my insurance because it counts as a medical cost, and it's close to my house. It's only 3 miles, so that means that over time I can build up my walking, running, and stuff. And rather than doing the warm up at home or trying to do it at the gym, I could just do it on the way to the gym. So easy peasy there. I get to save some time. Probably going to start working that in the summer where it's not so cold and slippery out. But for now, just doing it on the machines or at home or walking around the block a few times works. And that kind of reminds me, I wanted to mention something because I got some feedback that this was maybe a little bit too complicated. And if that's the case, that's okay. This is just what I do, and everybody's different. You all have different needs and circumstances. Someone with a neck injury, for example, probably won't want to do crazy shoulder presses. Or, if you're unfortunately in a wheelchair or something, you're not going to be doing leg presses and things like that. It just doesn't make sense. So the goal is to just do what you can within your constraints when you can. It doesn't have to be an everyday thing. It doesn't have to become your new life. If all you can do is walk around your house a couple times and you're feeling up to it, and that's a day where you can do that and you have the energy and you can stay awake, or whatever your particular obstacles aren't necessarily in the way, then you can do that. All right. I can't tell you to do stuff, but I can encourage you to do what you can when you can without hurting yourself. And that is what matters. If you can't make it to the gym one day, or if you can't do a specific workout, that doesn't mean you've lost. It just means it's a minor setback for that day, and every day is a new day. So you can always try again the next day, or the next opportunity you get. So a lot of people end up quitting going to the gym because they miss a day or they miss a week or something like that, and that doesn't necessarily have to be that way. So just do what you can when you can, and don't beat yourself up if you fall off the rails a little bit. It happens. It's okay. The important thing is just to keep going. It's just like, a trading plan. If you take 1 or 2 bad trades, it shouldn't destroy your portfolio, and it shouldn't discourage you from quitting or from staying in the market. So you just come back the next day. Right? Keep those losses small, consistent, and just get that practice. So today is going to be pull day. So I'm probably going to update these when I come home at night, or maybe early the next morning. Pull day consists of pulling exercises. So I'm going to be doing like lat pull downs. I always like to start with this one. It's just nice for good back activation. The trick for this is not to use your biceps. So I put minimal bicep here. It does happen. But it's mostly for the lats and the back. And that's the trick. So I see a lot of people just like turn it into a row where they just lay all the way back and pull with their biceps, and they pull with their their mid back and all that, and that defeats the purpose of a lat pull down. So again, form is the most important thing for what I'm doing. And if you're not doing any weight training and you're just walking, that's good. Like you have to get that lung capacity and cardiovascular health. It can't just be weights. So don't do that to yourself. A lot of bodybuilders get cardiomyopathy. It's just abnormal heart tissue or enlarged heart tissue because they don't do enough cardio, or because they maybe they abuse hormones and all kinds of stuff. But either way, you got to have a good balance of cardio in there. And I know it sucks. I know running sucks until you're used to it, and you just getting started is the hardest part. Just walk when you can. 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, and that alone will put you above most people. So that's good. Don't be afraid to just go for a walk. After the lat pull downs, I'd like to do some sort of seated or barbell row, and that's going to be for most of the back muscles. Again, this isn't something you want to use your biceps for. It's mostly just for the back, upper, mid, lower back. Ideally, I'd be able to do a seated row, but we'll see what's available at the time because, again, small gym, time constraints, all that good stuff. But I did see a couple pretty sweet setups there for row, so I'm not too worried about that. Next item is face pull, and that's just where you grab a cable. It's got a little rope handle, and you just pull it from the machine around your waist level, or around your waist level, I guess. And you just pull it up to your face, just like you're pulling up a blanket without hitting yourself in the face. It's really, really good for those the specifically the rotator cuff and the rear delts, obviously the rhomboids, and just overall stability muscles in your back, neck, and shoulders. It's pretty good. So I'll probably do quite a bit of those. I always enjoyed them. I know a lot of people hate them, and I don't like to smell the rope because it's got everyone's sweaty sweat all over it. But you know, I don't pull it up to my nose. It's okay. Then the weighted shrugs. This is probably one of the most loved and hated exercises in all of gym history. And if you're interested, I can find some demonstrations and resources for these. Like I said, I'm not going to be recording my own workouts for this, but I just want to walk you guys through the importance of each exercise as I do them. Weighted shrugs are really, really good for your traps. That's the muscles that go down the back of your neck into your shoulders. And it's really good for the rhomboids. It's good for the erector muscle in your lower back, as well as your serratus, depending on how you do them, right? So for a shrug, the trick is to pull them, your shoulders specifically. So you're standing there, feet shoulder width apart. You've got your weights in your hands, and you want to pull your shoulders up and back and pinch them as hard as you can. That's the idea there. And then you hold it, and your face makes all sorts of stupid shapes because the muscles in your nose and mouth constrict. It's just one of those kind of involuntary things. It always looks like you're snarling at people. And then you release that weight down slowly so that you're not hurting yourself or letting go of the weight. A lot of people, when they do shrugs, they bring their shoulders forward because it's easier, kind of cheats. But really what you're targeting is the back of the neck and the traps. So the muscles that go from your neck down to the rear part of your shoulder. So I struggled doing them the right way for a very long time. And then I was shown how to do them correctly. And I fell in love with them, but I also hate them because of what they do to my face. So enjoy those if you do them. And you could do them with very, very small weights. You don't have to do like 60-pound or 80-pound or 100-pound weights. Just start small, focus on the form. And it might help even to pull the barbells out in front of you a little bit. I used to rest them kind of near my quad, the upper quad, and just pull my shoulders back and up, and it works. Bicep curls, pretty easy. The idea there is you're just sticking you're holding the weight in your hand, you pull it down, and then you got your palm rotated forward, and you just pull the weight up in a controlled manner, and you don't swing them, you don't lean forward and cheat, you don't use your back of your knee to push the weight up. If you're doing that and you need to cheat and do all that stuff just to get the rep done, you're using the weight that's too heavy. So you can always drop your weight. If you're not in shape, you can always do this a bunch with can of vegetables. Even just get the practice down, get the form, and then you can work on heavier things like maybe a gallon of milk or something, or a gallon of water. What works really well is if you take a gallon jug and you put sand in it, just a little bit of sand, not a whole lot. You could do water as well. Sand is easier because it's controlled weight and it doesn't vary between exercises or between sessions, whereas water will evaporate and all that good stuff. So works pretty easy, and that kind of turns that into a hammer curl, right? Because you're forcing your wrist to rotate at that point. And a hammer curl is just the same as a bicep curl, but your hand is vertical instead of horizontal. So I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole with the exercises, but this is what I'll be doing tonight, and I'll report the weights and the reps just like I did up here, and I'll do that for leg day as well, and I'll just repeat the process. And over time, I'll probably make a spreadsheet so we can track the progressive overload. Now, I'm not going to be doing like 70 pounds to 100 pounds because that's insane, but I will gradually increase these. Like I said, once 12 reps becomes easy, I'll increase the weight, and then that'll put me back down to where it's like 6 pounds is hard, or 6 reps is hard, That's the idea. And then I'll use that for my weight, become acclimated to it, increase the number of reps that I can do till I get to 12. And once 12 is easy, I'll increase the weight a little bit, and then that'll be the new one. So there are some obstacles here, just like with trading. There's plateauing, there's burnout, things like that. I just, we'll address those when we get to them, but for the sake of any kind of strength training, getting started is the most important part. So hopefully this is a good enough walkthrough. Now I want to walk through the portfolio stuff because this is kind of important as well. So OCGN, I grabbed a covered call on this, and for those who aren't familiar with covered calls, I do got to make this kind of quick because it's a 14-minute video already. Covered calls are basically where you buy 100 shares or more, and then you sell a contract against those 100 shares. So one of the members on the team today was talking about OCGN. It's a sub-dollar stock. I've traded this a long time ago, and I loved it, but it has a very hard time holding on to profits. So I don't really care too much about selling these shares because I don't want to hold these forever, okay? So what I did is I bought 100 shares at $89.94 this morning, and then as you can see, the share price is currently, the share P&L is high, right? Because it's there's 100 of these, and they cost 90 bucks, and then there's only one of these, and it costs 15 bucks. All right. So what you can see here is that the share price is going up, as you can see, up to 96.94, which means that the call price, the value of the call contract that I sold, is also going up, which is showing a red P&L because the contract is now worth 18 cents or $18 instead of the 15 that I paid for it. So it's showing as a red position in my portfolio because I sold it, right? It's a -1 here. So it's reflecting as a red position. So if I wanted to keep these shares, okay, I would have to buy this contract back using the $15 that I collected plus another $3 in order to buy the contract back and close it. So that way I would cease my obligation to sell the shares to the other person if they exercise the contract. Now, in this case, I kind of want to get assigned. I want to sell those shares because I'm going to get $1 for each share, as well as the premium that I collected when I sold the contract. So I have two very specific outcomes here. Either since I don't plan to buy this contract back anyway, I have two specific outcomes. I will either hold it, in which case the share price will go up here over $1, which puts me in risk of assignment territory, or it'll go up here, which will justify the buyer themselves being in a profitable state where they can buy it and then sell the shares to the market and make a profit. So there's that offset between not just the strike price, but the strike price plus what the buyer paid for the contract, that the price kind of has to go over in order for me to really worry about being assigned. All right. The other alternative, right, because this is a very specific outcome, right? If I pull up a calculator here, we can see I've got 100 shares and I paid $89.94. So that's $89.94 for 100 shares, okay? And then I've got a $1 strike price. So 1 minus 0.8994, okay, so that's $10 basically, plus the 15 that I received for the contract. So my net profit on this position, if it goes up to $1.15 plus, right, because I don't care how high it goes, I just care that I get assigned and sell these shares, my net profit is $25.06, okay, because I'll get 15 for the contract and then 10.06 for the share P&L. So if I divide this by 89.94 and find the percentage, that's a 27.86% return on the $89.94 that I spent for these shares. So that's a pretty good return. I like that. And then let me pull this over here. Sorry, guys. I know it's kind of a longer video, and I apologize. If we look back over here at the NEO position, okay, you can see the same thing. I've got a $6 strike price. I paid $5.72 for 100 shares. So if I, again, pull out that calculator, I don't know why I said it that way. I paid a total of $550 for these shares, okay? And then I received a $48 premium for the contract. And there's a 50-cent difference between my average and the strike price of $6. So 50 cents, so $50, because we're timesing 100, plus $48 is $98. So if the price of NEO goes up to $6 plus the 48 that I sold the premium for, the buyer will then be at break even, and above that is profit. So he'll probably assign the contract, and I'll make my total of $98 in profit, sell my shares, walk away. If not, I keep the $48 and I keep the shares. So it's kind of a win-win in this scenario. And I'll get into how to deal with the underwater positions and stuff like that in the future, but I don't want to make this video too much longer. But just understand that you can still sell contracts against positions even if the price drastically sells off. And a lot of people are worried that if they buy shares and then the price sells off, they won't be able to sell anything because the contracts around their price will only be like 5 cents, or they'll have to get assigned for a loss, and that's not the case necessarily. So we'll show you guys how to worry about that and work around that in a future video, but this is about 20 minutes long, so I don't want to go too much longer. I really wanted to focus on the gym stuff because I got a lot of questions about that today, so I want to make sure everyone's on the same page. And I also just want to follow up on this cash secured put here as well on CCL, right? So we bought a cash secured put down here. Price went up, which means the put loses value, and since I'm the seller, that's what I want. So you can see that this position is currently up, which is awesome. Let me see if I could grab this little bar here. So I'm currently looking at a 38.64% profit on this. So I could, in theory, close this position for that $17 profit and just walk away. But I believe CCL should be pushing higher, so I want to collect more of that. Naturally, if the price went down, since it's a cash secured put, I run the risk of getting assigned, which means I would have to buy those shares, which is kind of what I want too. So it's another win-win. I either get assigned and I get to buy 100 shares and then it grows, or the price just goes up and I don't get assigned and I just keep that premium that I paid. So cash secured puts and covered calls are really, really, really easy ways to make money as long as you understand all the moving pieces. And you guys can hopefully see the impact that they have in relatively short order here, just for the price going up, down, or sideways. Okay, it's a lot less open risk than a naked contract. You can see here that the SPY contract here, for example, the SPY 0 day, SPY blasted, and I lost, $14. So not too worried about it because I made some earlier today and it's all right. But just goes to show you that there's other strategies out there. You don't need to just trade SPY, or you don't need to just buy and hold stocks or try to trade the differences in ranges and things like that. So there's very logic-based, comprehensive strategies out there which deal with every outcome, and those are the ones that I personally prefer. And that's what I'll be doing in this account going forward. So I'll see you guys next time. I appreciate you watching, and make sure that you guys ask questions in the comment section or in the Discord if you're in there, so I can address them and use them for examples and stuff on these episodes. So I'll see you guys later. Thank you and goodbye.